My favorite track. I'm tortured here. I like Dis-moi. I like that French song because it was a risk, and I was lucky to take that risk that day and sing and feel that whole story in French or whatever. But I'm sorry, I can't answer the question. I love so many songs. I have to say, from the very beginning, it was impossible for me to do the record without I Was Born in Love with You. Impossible. Like, I would have laid on the train tracks if that got cut. I loved the idea of it. I thought it was the beginning of a journey. Celui-là is a demo, and it was not meant to be on the album per se. It was just an exploratory demo. And that's a song that Michel wrote the moment he heard that JFK was shot, President Kennedy was dead. It seemed to, obviously, rock everyone's world, but it seemed Michel was deeply moved by that information, that news. And he wrote that song, and I was so transfixed by his sort of demeanor when he told me that. You see, Michel doesn't talk on and on about his feelings, but I could see Kennedy meant a lot to him. To do everything with Michel Legrand was fun, but to sing with him, he loves to sing. If he goes like this, he loves to sing. He enjoys using his voice. I mean, he's done this for many records. He loves to sing. He has his own albums. It's fun because he enjoys it. He enjoys it, and he even orchestrated his own vocalese in Once Upon a Summertime. So he's going da-dee-da-da, and the orchestra answers. So he loves to flirt, you see, with an orchestra, with his voice. It's so creative. It's too much, really. I have to say, I was really excited. I felt really calm. I was there in Maryland. It was my first symphony appearance, like you said, with these arrangements, and there were 5,000 people there, and it was outside, which felt right. There was a breeze. It was summer. I had on a new dress that felt nice. I know that's sort of superficial, but it was this apricot dress, and it just felt like him, and it felt right and nice, and it was hot the night I did it. So as much as I was in this dress, I was hot, and I was like, oh, you know. But I know that song is about summer, so it's okay, and the orchestrations are so alluring to do outside or to do for that many people, and it takes that many people to do it. It's really collectively quite exciting to be a part of it. You know, I think if the orchestrations or the arrangements weren't so unique, it might be intimidating. But these are like a trip that's never been taken, you see. I know it. I just know it in my bones, that restlessness, that tossing and turning. I can't remember who the heck I was in love with. I can't remember what I wanted. I can't remember anything. That windmills orchestration, this is all right out of my head. And we did it together. Well, everything has been done really lovingly with this. The packaging of this CD was really hard to make because this has been a long process. There's a lot of pictures. This is a travelogue. This is a novel, really. And I only had a CD booklet to write. So I don't really want to hand everybody to a whole novel to read. You see, this is for your own thoughts and feelings. So I wanted the CD booklet to represent a lot of this history and who Michel is and how it all came about, but also let you feel free to let it mean whatever it means to you. I mean, our book could have been 35 pages of pictures and stories and memories and I mean, his thoughts, my God, Phil Ramone's thoughts, Richard J. Alexander's thoughts. Just, there's so many brilliant people involved in this record, and all of whom understand this history probably far better than I do. So there's so much to say, but we did not make a 35-page booklet, but what you get is really lovingly put together. I was living in LA, and I had a Hollywood manager who I was in her office, and she produced a fax one day. It was sort of lucky that I was there because she was, oh, I got this fax from New York. And I looked at it, and she's some workshop in New York. They want you to audition. And so I looked at the fax, and it said, there's a workshop coming up with James Lapine. He'd really like to see you. I have worked with James before in Faust with Randy Newman. And it's a French musical called Le Passe-Muraille, written by Michel Legrand. And I looked at this manager and I said, I swear, the fax started to glow in my hand. Like I could feel it, heat on my hands. I was like, oh. I said, Michel Legrand wrote a musical? And she turned to me and went, I know, I love her. She is not my manager anymore. Well, you know, the rehearsals for Amour were so special, and I think we always knew that it was an odd story of a man who walks through walls, and it really required a lot of magic because the man walks through walls. I think we kind of knew we were having some trouble because the special effects were hard, and the walls he walks through, like, they literally would fall, like, on the audience. Like, I shouldn't laugh. It wasn't funny. But it wasn't funny. It was really horrible. But it just sounds funny. There was just a lot of technical problems. So I don't even know if the show got a chance to be as light as it is, because it's about walking through walls. It should all be effortless. But there were the baguetterie, or the kind of bread shop, like, did actually fall on the audience. At one point. And my house that I lived in, my character was sort of symbolically lived behind walls. She was an unfulfilled and sad wife of a wealthy man, and she only came out of her little window and would sing. Or she would read a magazine to kind of escape. It was like a bit of a mad housewife. Little did I know. No. It's a bit of a mad housewife. And one day I was out doing my laundry and singing this very difficult song, and my balcony just had to move toward the audience, and I started tilting like the Titanic. You could hear, "Arr!" And there was this terrible sound, and I'm singing this really hard song, and my laundry's starting to fall, and I'm holding it, and I'm singing these really hard, high, difficult, beautiful, precise, delicate things, and I could feel there's a wire or something, and it's pulling the whole set, and I'm falling. I'm going to fall. And somehow they suspended me in this terrible angle up there, and the whole set was pulling. Something did get stuck. And I finished in this crazy angle, and they just delicately brought the curtain down. And they had to work and so on. And I remember Jean Doumanian, a great film producer, was one of our producers, as well as the Schuberts. She called me at home that night to thank me for being so calm. I don't think I understood at the time how dangerous it all was. The score, Michel used to call an opera bouffe, a kind of light, bubbling opera. He never saw it as terribly serious. And Malcolm Getz, my co-star, always saw it as his Danny Kaye. I think Michel was always a little concerned about if the Americans would understand how French it is. He used to say, "This is so French, this is so French. I don't know if America," and then people would say, no, there's always an audience in New York for anything.